Hi there, everybody. This is Lindy, and I thought I would talk about, again, I'm going to talk about childhood. But more importantly, I think I need to start giving a little history about, for instance, TV. I watched Howdy Doody. Um, we had our first TV, and I think I was 7 years old. It was a huge TV, huge, and it was black and white. So I want to talk about the first how TV. Um, Number one, the first TV was created, and the first station was in 1928, and the first station was WRGB, and it's still active. That was the first TV station. And in 1955 was when they had the first remote. So we strictly had black and white TV, and it wasn't until 1966 that programming was done in color across America. In 1951, we got I Love Lucy. In 1952, we got Bob Hope Comedy. And these were really good shows, guys. Not what's going on today, but good shows. 1954, The Tonight Show with Steve Allen was started. And if you remember, Johnny Carson did it for, 20 years? He was the most famous, but Steve Allen was the first Tonight Show host. In 1963, we had the first presidential debate between Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy. And as you know, John F. Kennedy was killed in 63. I was going to school at 16, and I was in high school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or anyway. And it closed the school, and they sent us home. And we watched on TV everything. I mean, it was live on TV. Jacqueline Kennedy, I remember, had on a pink suit and a pink pill hat. If you don't know what a pill hat is, go look it up, because we wore pill hats. They did. I never did. Covered with blood. And you could see her sitting there holding his head as it was bleeding in her lap. We waited for hours to find out he had passed. I remember seeing Lyndon B. Johnson being inaugurated within hours as President of the United States, either on the plane or just before he left. But, so that's a little history there. Then in 1964, the Beatles came on. I never got to watch them. They were on Lawrence Welk, and we always watched Lawrence Welk until the Beatles came on, and then they shut the TV off because they didn't like the Beatles. Trust me, they didn't like the Beatles, my aunt and uncle. So at the same time, we had commercials like crazy. We weren't supposed to have so many commercials, but we had 60-second commercials. It was ridiculous. Every time you turned around, we were having a commercial. Then in 1979, ESPN began. In 1980, Ted Turner launched the CNN cable news program. And at the same time, MTV also started. It had its debate. So 1989 is when we had pay-per-view, because the commercials were so expensive that people weren't advertising during the games because they kept jacking up the prices for the people who wanted to advertise. So in 1992 was our first infomercial, and that's when that began. So some of the programs that we had were Superman, I Love Lucy, The Honeymooners, Sky King. I watched him as a child. Father Knows Best. I watched him as a child. Leave It to Beaver. Who doesn't know Leave It to Beaver? Gunsmoke. Oh, wonderful. Alfred Hitchcock. Oh my goodness, he was scary. That was scary. The Rifleman. We always watched that. Twilight Zone. That was a whole different program. Loved that one. Howdy Doody, as I told you. Roy Rogers. I could go on and on and on. But these were part of my history and my growing up. And I thought I'd give just a little bit of history of the TV. So, what were the programs that you watched when you grew up? This is just part of my history and growing up and being a child. So I'll talk to you later. Take care. Camo.